Hey guys, in this video we are going to discuss problems where you have to write the equation of a line. So for right now we are only going to look at the form y equals mx plus b. So if I ask you to write the equation of a line, right now your answer should always look like y equals mx plus b. So the m stands for the slope. Now we can find slope a bunch of different ways, so it really just depends on the problem. Sometimes I might tell you the slope so you can skip that step. But remember, if I give you a graph or 2 points or a table, we know how to find the slope. From the graph, we can use rise over run. We can do our y minus y over x minus x. From a table, we can figure out what the y's are going up by, what the x's are going up by. And we know that no matter which method we do, our answer should look like y over x. All right, and then the y-intercept. Sometimes I'll tell you the y-intercept. If I give you a point, a y-intercept is always 0 and then a number. And that's because the y-intercept are the points that are on the y-axis. So like this first one, that could be the point 0, 1, and then 0, 2. This could be 0, negative 1, and 0, negative 2. But that's your clue that a point is a y-intercept if the first number of the ordered pair is 0. All right, so let's just do a few examples. You're probably going to get the hang of this first example pretty easy, so we're not going to do too many of those. But I'm telling you specifically the slope is 2/3 and the y-intercept is negative 4. And I want you to write the equation of a line. So it should always look like y equals mx plus b. I told you the slope is 2/3. And typically, when it's plus b, that doesn't mean that it's always going to be plus. The plus is only if our y-intercept is a positive number. And since my y-intercept is a negative number, I'm actually going to put a minus instead of a plus sign. So my final answer is 2/3 x minus 4. That's the equation of my line. The slope is 2/3. And the y-intercept is negative 4, so I wrote it like minus 4. If this was a positive 4, then we would write it as plus 4. So just make sure you match it. All right, so we're going to start by looking at graphs. So if you need to, pause the video. Remember, these are your notes. You're supposed to copy all this down, so pause and rewatch as much as you need. So I have the equation of a line. I got to find those two characteristics. I got to figure out the slope, and I got to figure out the y-intercept. And as soon as I know what both of those are, I can write the equation of my line. So slope, I'm going to recognize that my slope is negative. It's going down. You can draw Mr. Slope Guy if you need to. And you can either pick, this is the point 0, 3. This is the point 1, 1. We can pick these as our 1s and these as our 2s. Remember, we can do 3 minus 1 over 0 minus 1 and get 2 over negative 1. So remember, you can do y minus y over x minus x. You could think about, well, how do I get from 3 to 1? How do I get from 0 to 1? It might give you a different place for the negative, but ultimately your answer is going to be the same. We could also do rise over run. This is down 2. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. So the fact that I went down is your clue that it's negative. So no matter which way you figure it out, the slope of your line is negative 2. Because that's what this equals when you divide. If you did it from more similar to a table, you would still get negative 2. And rise over run gives us the same answer. All right, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So you need to scroll up and down the y-axis and figure out where your line has a point that's on the y-axis, and that's this point right here. And again, remember the clue that the first number is 0. So the y-intercept of my graph is a positive 3. So the equation of my line, y equals negative 2x plus 3. The slope and then x, and then my y-intercept was positive, so this time it is plus 3. All right, just another reinforcing these vertical lines and horizontal lines, because the vertical line doesn't really fit with y equals mx plus b, because technically it's not a function. But here's my horizontal line. So remember, horizontal lines is like slope guy's mouth. So the slope is 0. So we can write the equation of this like y equals mx plus b. For this one, my y-intercept looks like the point 2. Right, so this equation would be y equals 0x plus 2. But anything times 0 equals 0. So that whole thing is basically going to cancel out. And so this will just be the line y equals 2. So anytime you have a horizontal line, your equation should look like y equals a number. And that was in the slope video, that little Vux Hoy saying. We started with horizontal. So horizontal line has a 0 slope, and your equation should be y equals whatever the y-intercept is. All right, for my vertical line has an undefined slope. Remember, this is like his nose, right? So that slope is undefined. So if I have an undefined slope, I can't write a y equals mx plus b type of equation for it. It's just not possible, because even if you just put nothing in front of the x, that would still be a slope of 1. And we can't have any type of a slope at all. So anytime you have a vertical line, your equation is just x equals, and then whatever the x-intercept is. So for this, my x-intercept is 2. That's the point that's on the x-axis. So that's just the equation of my line, and that's the Vux Hoy. So the vertical line has an undefined slope, and the equation should just look like x equals. All right, so rewatch this video as many times as you need to. This was just writing the equation of a line when we can figure out the slope and the y-intercept.